Our Albertsons shoppers donate to Goodwill because it's convenient and they always get a receipt.
I donate to Goodwill because Goodwill keeps things like computers out of our landfills.
I donate to Goodwill because Goodwill turns gently used goods into jobs for people in our community.
I donate to Goodwill because when I give, Southern Nevada benefits.
Donate.
Donate.
It's easy to donate.
Shop and donate today. Pahrumps Goodwill is located in the former Ace Hardware building.
News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349. News is also brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Tonight on News 46, a student is transported from Pahrump Valley High School. Sheriff DeMayo speaks up about an article written by a local newspaper, and a ribbon cutting is held on Postal Road. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell and Jason Kodlitz. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 5th, 2014. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Late this afternoon, at least 5 people have been trapped at the site of a vehicle accident about 20 miles up Wheeler Pass. A squad from Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue were dispatched to the area along with deputies. They were also able to locate a diabetic female who hiked 5.5 hours to the top of a ravine where the vehicle remains with additional victims to get medical help. Their condition is unknown at this time. A reported fight occurred this afternoon at Pahrump Valley High School. One student was transported with injuries sustained as a result. Nye County Sheriff's officers arrived at the school approximately 1:30 today. Several people were questioned by police. At least one person has been taken into custody. The Nye County Sheriff's Office is conducting the investigation. Sheriff Tony DeMayo addressed the local media yesterday. DeMayo wanted to answer a newspaper article written recently by a local paper alleging that officers inside the ranks of the Nye County Sheriff's Office were aware of Sergeant Michael Horn's alleged drug abuse. Horn was arrested recently for charges related to the use and possession of various narcotics, including morphine. The sheriff is asking for an internal investigation for the violation of the department's policy in regards to providing information to the newspaper during a criminal and internal investigation without proper authority. He's also looking into the possibility that the newspaper sources broke the law if they were aware of illegal activities in regards to Horn's drug abuse and did not report it to their superiors.
On February 28th in the Pahrump Valley Times was an article that was written, and I will comment on some of the points and I will explain the position of the County Sheriff's Office. One of them is that the fact that this was the department's worst kept secret. I stated that we were shocked to find that Sergeant Mike Horn was involved and apparently allegedly involved, because his allegations and internal affairs investigation is still ongoing, so I cannot comment on the criminal side of it. I cannot comment on the internal affairs side of it. It's a violation of policy. We have established policies under the law, have established policies to address any internal affairs and allegations of misconduct. There's a claim that on 2 occasions, drug-related complaints against Horn filtered through the department with no results. The first came to narcotics detectives in 2007 from a former sheriff's deputy, and numerous sources from the paper articles tell similar stories about what had happened. Essentially, Sergeant Horn, through the allegation that was in the paper, on the night of partying, gave some friend some pills. The friend was conscious, and Sergeant Horn rushed him back into the house in Boulder City, where the ex-deputy, and he was actually a Boulder City cop at that time, where he lived. The friend's wife was forced to stick her hand down the man's throat and force him to vomit. we want to know why. I would have asked why they didn't contact any medical people to find out why it was the ambulance responding. But nevertheless, from this officer, his stomach was full of pills. The officer who did not want to be identified later, the officer said that he and people with Horn discovered a cache of drugs and syringes in the bag Sergeant Horn brought with him into the home. From the officer, he committed 3 or 4 violations right off the top of my head. I called a narcotics officer at Nye County, he said. Well, here's the problem. The officer, if he noticed this and he noticed that there was a felony, he has a duty to, he actually has an obligation to act. He did not contact his department. I will address what happened when I sent an officer in to investigate this. He didn't notify his officer, and nowhere did any officer from Nye County notify me or anyone in this office in reference to what is being alleged by this officer. If these are the allegations that this person is saying, and he actually witnessed this, he committed a violation of law. Also probably committed a violation of the policy of Boulder City Police Department. If I had known this, I would have been on the phone with, at that time, Chief Finn, and stating that there was a problem. We found out during the information that one of the officers apparently was a witness to a crime, and he didn't report it, because it wasn't reported in Boulder City.
And to view the extended version of that press conference, go to KPVM's YouTube page. After the break, Marty Salt will discuss a new remedy for sleep disorders.
A machine used for a common sleep disorder may help people with asthma. The story next on Prescription Health.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh.
And welcome back to News 46. More than 25 million Americans suffer from asthma. Steroids, inhalers, and pills are some of the main methods used to control symptoms. But soon there may be a new way. As Marty Salt explains, it's not a drug, it's a device that has been successful for sleep disorders.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
College professor Kurt Stecker spends many late nights grading papers. But some nights his asthma gets the best of him.
You can't sleep, that kind of thing. It's a tightness in your chest, and then your chest also, you cough.
Kurt was diagnosed with asthma at age 16. He's taken steroids and inhalers, but now he's trying this. As part of a clinical trial, doctors are testing whether treatment with a CPAP machine will improve symptoms in asthma patients by making their airways less reactive.
At nighttime, their muscles that are around their windpipes are not being allowed to relax. In essence, they're working almost 24 hours a day.
The CPAP pushes gentle air down the windpipe, forcing the muscles to relax. It's typically used for patients with sleep apnea, but doctors say it could be the first drug-free option for asthma patients. In the 12-week study, patients use the device for at least 4 hours a day, and there are no side effects.
The most exciting thing is that it's not a drug. This is a device.
Kurt watches TV while his CPAP goes to work.
I don't even notice it, honestly.
He hopes the simple mask could one day be all he needs to keep his asthma under control. I'm Marty Salt reporting.
Doctors say the hope is that patients will only need to use the CPAP for a period of time, not indefinitely, to see results. Doctors think the effect is in a matter of days. Researchers at 19 sites across the country are still recruiting patients for this clinical trial, which is sponsored by the American Lung Association. For more information on how to enroll, log on to lung.org. Do you know what the green light on top of a taxi means? Like most of us, you probably thought it meant that the taxi is available. As we show you in our interview with Ron from Integrity Taxi, you might want to pay attention if you see that light flash.
The green light actually is a distress signal. It's a 911, and the sheriff's office is totally aware of it, Tony DeMeo and all the officers. And if anybody would ever see the green light blinking, that is a total distress signal that we're in harm's way, either with a knife, a gun, or we're being bodily threatened. That's a serious, serious code.
And serious crime we have to add too.
Yeah, it's 6 years for battery, and I think it's 15 years for assault on a taxi driver. And that's pretty stringent, and that's to protect taxi drivers.
Exactly. Driving a taxi here in this town, you don't normally worry too much about our people here, but you do get a lot of outsiders and a lot of other people who might otherwise be not so within their right mind.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have cameras inside, and we have a panic button on the camera so we can turn that on at any time, and that's 360 degrees. And we also have, so the public understands, we have GPSs on all the automobiles so they can track us at any time. So, but the big thing is the green light. If you see the green light on, please call the sheriff's office immediately and give the location.
And let them know where you're at, so we can have a bunch of eyes on you guys out there, as well as we do on our regular assistants. But eyes on the taxi drivers, make sure that you guys are aware of what might be going on, because you can't always tell what's going on when you're driving somebody around town behind you.
Yeah, exactly. And they've had this system down in Las Vegas and Clark County for years. But you have literally hundreds, if not thousands, of taxis out there all watching each other. We have 4 cars here in Pahrump, and we're on rural roads late at night. We're open 24 hours. So, you know, it might be 2 o'clock in the morning, and we might only have 1 car out there. And so if the public could, you know, keep an eye on us, and if they see that green light blinking, again, call 911, call Tony DeMayo's office immediately.
Have you had any instances going on since you guys have been open?
Thank God we haven't had any assault battery, any situations like that. But we've had a couple runners, people that just scooted, mostly at the nighttime, and they just took off, didn't pay their fare.
And the sheriff's office is called right away for that too as well.
Yeah, we fill out a report, and they've been real cooperative with us, and they get a summons, and they have to appear in court. It's just like it's a misdemeanor, you know, petty theft charge, you know, if they don't pay their fare, and it's just the same, they get a citation just like if they got a speeding ticket.
So lots of ways to protect the drivers out here and keep everybody safe all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, we're doing this as a public service announcement to the public, and, you know, we appreciate it. Thank you.
And if you need a taxi, give a call.
Yeah, 751-1111. That's our number, and we're open 24 hours a day, and our dispatchers will get us out there real quick.
I love when we all come together to keep each other safe. We continue our conversation with Assemblyman James Oscarson and Senator Pete Gogochea, who spoke to News 46 recently at the Pahrump Nugget.
Well, Senate District 19 is huge, you know, from Oregon, Idaho to Primm on the California border. So I'm very dependent on my assemblymen, both James Oscarson and John Ellison in the north. If it wasn't for James down here keeping me posted, keeping his finger on the pulse, he calls me, emails me, says, hey, you know, we've got an issue with this. What do you think we should do with this? And sometimes says, hey, you need to get down here. We've got a real issue. So I'm very dependent on James. He has all my support. We work through the session very closely. I think we did our town hall meetings, phone conferences back into Pahrump and Elko, very well received. Again, as James said, we had some tremendous legislation. I think AB 227, which was the public lands legislation that created the task force that will take a long, hard look at whether those lands should be returned to the state of Nevada. 343 was another that allows for ATVs to be, if they're multi-passenger, they can be registered and insured and driven on the roads in this state. So we've got I think we had a tremendous session. I would like to say that I want to thank Pahrump. I've represented them for 15 months now. Great people down here. We've got a lot of work to do, and I am glad that I only have to run every 4 years. Issue I think we need to touch on is SGR 15, which is the net proceeds, the ballot initiative that will be on the ballot this fall. I'm urging all rural counties, you have to vote no. If that provision comes out of the Constitution, then it will change the distribution of the net proceeds, and it will be the death knell for rural Nevada. I mean, there is no guarantee at the point it comes out of the Constitution how that money will be dispersed back to the counties, and in fact we know they will apply an excise tax, and that excise tax probably will end up in the urban areas, and so the last 25 years that we've had net proceeds and that has really been extremely helpful to the rural counties will be gone. So I'm urging everyone to vote against SJR 15. We need to keep that provision in the Constitution.
When we come back from this break, I'll have an update regarding the accident up there on Wheeler Pass that I told you about earlier in the broadcast, and who took home an Oscar Sunday night at the Academy Awards. Stay tuned.